You be proud of me, Will, because just like you, I also have a hatred for the one-hit KO move. There is one aspect of the one-hit KO move that nearly does this perfectly. Henry's one from No More Heroes. You thought fighting your Irish twin brother at a hotel parking lot was freaking insane? Take a look at this. In Pokemon, it is random whether a hit will be critical or one-hit KOs your Pokemon. The worst defenders are the Super Mario Trilogy, where you are not allowed to hit an enemy if you didn't get a Super Mushroom at the beginning of the level. And of course, every Final Fantasy player knows about the legendary boss from Final Fantasy XII, Yzmat. You thought having 50 million HP and defeating it in 4 hours wasn't enough? Throw some insta-death moves that can one-shot anyone in your party, and you have a boss that may take even longer. What do I love in a story? Shocking moments, interactions between other characters, emotional impacts? Yes, yes, and yes. But what I love the most is when a story makes sense. So having a story with a confusing story can make me hate a game overall. One of the problems I have with convoluted plot lines is that, you guessed it, that the entire campaign is so confusing that brains will begin to melt. Shadow the Hedgehog has a convoluted plotline because you have no idea which of the 326 stories link up with the final story. But I love the game, but the story didn't make that much sense to me because of that. Final Fantasy XIII is one of the worst games I played, mostly because I could not even understand a thing of a story. But the worst offender by far is Kingdom Hearts. Not the entire series, cause until Chain of Memories we understood a little what was actually going on and how everything made more sense. Kingdom Hearts 1 was confusing as all heck. Some horror games, for instance, Silent Hill 2, had a really convoluted story, which I will not spoil for you because we are moving on now. Why hasn't anyone talked about these types of levels? If you thought water levels are synonymous for being bad, maze levels are monotonous for being terrible. As you can tell, maze levels have you going around a maze getting lost trying to find your way out. What are the two worst offenders of this cliche? Shadow the Hedgehog and Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Don't get me wrong, I loved both of these games. But these maze levels made me dread whenever I want to replay either or both of them. Shadow has two maze levels in this game. One being the Doom, which is not bad for getting around if you play the stage numerous times. It's the missions that make it tedious. And the other, which is the worst Shadow the Hedgehog stage, Central City, where this is the only level in Sonic history with no gold ring, so you either have to choose justice or revenge. In Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the Great Maze is infamous. You have to clear 2 hours of your schedule because you can't get to the final boss unless you beat every boss and character, which they are all located all around the map, so you have to backtrack numerous times just to find where the heck you are going. I'm sorry, does anyone like this trope? Cause I'd be surprised to find anyone who does. Granted, I haven't played much escort missions, so I'll have to list the worst ones. Jak 2, Mario plus Rabbids, and Resident Evil 4. Out of these 3 examples, Mario and Rabbids is the only one I played. But that does not mean I like them. In nearly every world, you have to escort either Toad or Toadette to the other side of the freaking arena. Even Beepo agrees that these escort missions are bad. Jak 2 is infamous for its escort missions. You have to protect an NPC while they complete a certain task. And being Jak 2 one of the cheapest platformers of all time, you won't enjoy these missions. I can guarantee you that. And Resident Evil 4, where you have to protect the president's daughter, Ashley Graham, from monsters. Problem? She usually gets kidnapped or constantly yells at you in the most annoying one-liner in the GameCube library.
You know what they say?
You are playing through a boss fight, and then for some reason, a boss can find a healing source or heal itself. I hate these types of bosses and enemies more than anything. Oh yeah, I hate them more than the worst boss I ever faced. Let's take a look at some examples. In RPGs, you always have that one enemy you face that has a healing ability. Minecraft's final boss, the Ender Dragon, is annoying to face against mostly because you have to take out all the end crystals before striking it. And don't get me started on the weather. Some characters in Super Smash Bros. Have their own healing moves. That's one reason why Ness and Lucas are cheap characters to face against. The worst offender out of everything on this list is my favorite game of all time, Sonic Unleashed. Now, if this is my favorite game of all time, what enemy is so bad? These wizard creatures. Even though I like the Werehog stages, in Halaska, Shema, Adabat, and maybe Empire City, you have wizards that can not only heal themselves, but also heal every single one of its comrades' health in a freaking arena. Pokemon is a close second. Why? You have some moves like rest and items like potions can heal the Pokemon, but that's not it. This item is a full restore. If you don't know what that is, I'll tell you. A full restore can revive and heal a Pokemon to its full health, so you'll be playing charades until the player runs out of them. And there are Pokemon players that will keep using full restores about nearly every turn. I'm Use1 Campbell, and if you like self-healing enemies, Colress will say to you that
I disagree.